Start by measuring your distance from the wall. Place your hands up against the wall and extend your body straight. Maybe get a little shoulder stretch while you're at it, dropping the head down. But we're just measuring out to see how close we need to be. So then you drop the hands straight down and step the feet up. You want to make an L shape with your body. So the feet always want to go higher like mine are at first, and then you want to kind of balance it out. Try lifting one leg up and just kind of feeling that. If you want to bend the leg behind you, you can. But right now what you're doing is just building strength through the shoulder girdle. So you want to press the floor away from you and squeeze your tummy muscles as best as you can. And dropping the feet down, roll your body up, scoop the hands up, a little back bend, bringing the hands behind your back, keeping those shoulders nice and open. Release your body down. Maybe just let the head hang, or you can tuck your hands underneath your feet, bending the elbows and stretch out the forearm muscles. Start to forward fold and relax the body, and then when you're ready, find that L shape again, walking the feet up the wall. And then see how far you can be on your tippy toes and just pressing the floor away from you, just feeling that activation through the shoulders and the tummy muscles. And then start to lift up one leg, pressing the floor all the way to the tips of your toe with the wall. And you can kind of check that alignment, making sure the hips are right over the shoulder and that top leg isn't going too far. Coming down to your mat into a tabletop position. Squeeze your tummy muscles. Try to activate between the shoulders and take 5 breaths, and then start with some cat-cow poses, rounding the back, tucking the tailbone up and down just a few times, massaging the spine, and then holding again, squeezing the tummy muscles, activating the arms, and really pushing the floor away from you. Walk your hands forward for puppy dog pose. Drop the heart down. If you want, you can extend the legs straight and go even deeper. I always try to counteract any of these deep muscle intense works so that we can keep them lean while we're building that strength. And coming back again for our third round. 5 breaths. And then once you've completed that, we'll come into inhale the right arm up, slide it through, walk the left hand forward, just kind of keeping those shoulders relaxed, maybe wrapping the hand around to the opposite side if that feels good. And then when you're ready, release that left hand down. Left hand up, weave it through, walk the right hand forward or wrap it around your back. Just relax your body here, feel that stretch in the shoulders as well as the mid and lower back. And you could do any poses in between these exercises. These are just the poses that I felt were right. So coming back into your plank. When you're in a plank, try to protract the shoulders and press the floor away from you. Feel the space between your shoulder blades. Anytime we're holding these planks, we're doing it for 5 breaths, and then maybe coming up to a cobra pose, stretching out the belly, and then a downward facing dog, or any poses really in between, and then coming back into your plank. So anytime we're holding for 5 full breaths, shifting that weight forward. So you already have a lot of weight in the arms, and then kicking it up a notch, activating the core muscles, rocking the heels into that side plank towards the left, maybe gazing up or keeping the gaze down. It's up to you. If you want an extra challenge, lift that top leg, lowering down back into a normal plank, and holding for those 5 breaths, really shifting that weight forward as best as you can, squeezing those tummy muscles. Then once you get those 5 breaths, rocking the heels to the right, inhaling that arm up, maybe lifting the leg if you did on the other side, keeping those hips lifting high in these side planks. Coming back into a plank, find those 5 breaths. Squeeze the tummy muscles. Press the floor away from you. And then send it all the way up and back for a downward facing dog. Dropping down with the elbows into that dolphin's pose. Giving your wrists a break. Still stretching in the hamstrings. Any little wiggles that feel good you could do too. Then when you're ready, come down to a seated position on your knees. Start to rotate the wrists both ways. And then here are just a few wrist exercises to kind of keep those wrists lean. Tucking the hands down, palms facing down, circling around one way. And then when you're ready, reversing the other. So just keeping those wrists nice and strong. When we stretch them like this, we're also building strength in the wrists because they use a little bit of resistance as you're holding them. And the farther you have the wrists away from your body, the more of a stretch it's going to be. So use that to your advantage. Lift one hand up, wrap the other hand around, squeeze nice and tight, make a fist, and curl it in. That's going to stretch the top of your wrist. And then open it out. Start to rotate the wrists around using the opposite hand to move. And shake it out and switch over to the other side. Getting that tight grip with the thumb and the finger and making a fist, curling it in, feeling the stretch on the top of your hand, and then opening it out. Rotating around with the opposite hand. Give it a little shake, and now you're ready to get back into the practice. Starting in a downward facing dog position, walk the feet in and just kind of shift that weight forward and back all the way into the wrist. You want to come past the vertical line. So you can see how the shoulders are coming past the wrists and holding there, squeezing the tummy muscles, then giving yourself a little break, getting ready. Taking little breaks in between to make sure our energy stays high, and then planting the hands down and trying to find that spider grip. So you can see how the knuckles are coming up. We're pressing to the tips of our fingers. That's what's going to help you grip the mat. And you want to come all the way to the tippy toes and send all that weight forward. So even if your knees are a little bit bent, that's okay. And coming back to stretch the wrists once again, maybe stepping on the feet, elbows bent out to the sides. Bending the elbows back is going to stretch the forearms. And out stretches the hamstrings. So planting the hands down again. Now you're ready. Get those hands down. Lift the hips up. And hold here for 5 breaths. If 3 breaths works better, you could do that too. Stretching in between, maybe clasping the hands behind. Opening up those shoulders because that can get really tight through here, especially to get yourself ready for tomorrow. Maybe bending the knees and letting the weight of the chest fall onto the legs. Releasing the hands down, and then starting again, sending the weight forward and holding for those 5 breaths, 3 to 5 breaths, and then pressing back down into the heels, rocking forward and back a couple times, maybe stretching out the Achilles tendon again. Any poses in between to have your little breaks are fine. Coming back into that downward facing dog, and let's start to kick up, lifting one leg and floating up. Don't worry about swinging that other leg up. Just trying to stack that one leg, maybe bending the other knee, and just kicking up, holding. And if you start to fall forward, you can walk like I did. The trick is to kind of find your best way to fall out of it. Inhaling up, exhale forward, fold. Walk the hands forward, prep yourself. Inhale the leg up and try to float and float. Maybe you can hold. If you start to, you can walk and you want to kind of cartwheel out of it. That's going to be a good way to fall out of it naturally. And try this again as many times as you want. But making sure not to get too exhausted, just checking in and listening to your body. And when you finish, either coming down into Savasana and just relaxing there, or a child's pose would be fine. But the trick with all inversions is really just continue practicing and you'll get there. We'll get there together.